right, so I picked up this military issue JSTDS/SS. No idea what that means. I think it's the company who originally made this, DRS's number. What I can find about this machine, there's not a lot of information out there about them. That's why I mainly wanted to do this video, in case you ever come across one and you were wondering, hey, is this going to work good as a pressure washer or not? I'm going to be the guinea pig, I guess, for that. So these were originally sold to the military as decontamination units. So basically, from the brochure I found online, which you can look up that number, and there's a nice brochure. Basically, there was a special chemical that would get pumped up into it. You would spray down a Humvee or a troop carrier or whatever that was contaminated with some ungodly thing. And this was your machine for decontaminating. Whew. Words being tough on me today. That was your machine for that. So what I bought it for is not decontamination. I just need a good hot water pressure washer. So right here on the control board, it goes up to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Also goes to 120 if you want a little lower setting. That's 80 degrees Celsius and 50 degrees Celsius. So I don't think it's quite a steam cleaner, but it's a good hot water pressure washer. So we're gonna see how much pressure it has. I only get to test it out a little bit yesterday when I bought it at the guy's house. I didn't actually wash anything. It's got a couple leaks I noticed. So that's probably taking down some pressure too. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it unloaded here and set it down, hook it up. I do have a battery for it. It is only electric start, which is kind of nice actually. A lot better than pulling on something. I'm just now seeing it's a Ferryman diesel, which I've never heard of. One thing I noticed really weird about this motor is look where that starter is. That looks like a treat to have to replace. So I bought this yesterday, but you know, like I said, didn't really get to test it much. Got it for a good enough price that, you know, it ran and worked. So no matter what, I can get my money out of it. I have to. But I'm hoping it's going to be a pretty good machine to have around. So let me get it craned off here. All right, so we got it down off the truck here. You get a little bit better view of it. So, a little one-cylinder engine. One thing I kind of thought was interesting is it's straight piped, and it comes right out the top of the vent for the heater as well. Just thought that was kind of odd. Like I said, diesel motor, electric start. Really not that much to these. I don't know what this is. Some sort of primer. I'm thinking that might be the primer for this. I don't completely know though. Like I said, jerry can for the fuel tank. Kind of cool. Kind of annoying. You got to undo this every time to add fuel to it, because that's just more of a chance for stuff to start leaking, but whatever. Pickup for the soap, or I mean, originally it wasn't soap, but there we go. So from what I understood, obviously that's stop pump. These are both preheaters for the motor and for the pump itself. Then you can select, I think this is cold water, medium, hot. These are all warning lights. I'll throw the battery in it. I think it had like 114 hours on it, so, you know, barely anything. One thing I did want to note, I think originally with the military, it would have like a very specialized wand that dealt with the chemicals. So I guess that also got power of some sort out to the end of the wand. So that's what that does. Then it does have a throttle. I got a bunch of hose with it. That's like 100 feet probably. So that'll be nice. So I'll get that hooked up and we'll go with that. All right, so we got hooked up to water now. Of course it leaks a little bit, but it's come all the way through back to the pump here. Not sure why it's foamy. I guess there's some soap residue in there or something. So to fire this thing up, you turn one click all the way down off, I think this is the heater for the motor. So we'll go ahead and hit that for a second. So you can see 114 hours. And then this, you actually press in to start. Which, just remembered, I did not check the oil yet today, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. All right, topped off the oil, it was a little bit low. So we'll go ahead and, this does have a detent, that's the mechanical shutoff. So we got the main hose hooked up. That's like a big extender hose. It's got small leaks at both ends. Kind of sucks. So that's some sort of temperature gauge. Not really too sure what that does. That's your pressure gauge. All right, so everything you just saw was filmed exactly a year ago yesterday. That pressure washer is no longer in my possession. I actually sold it because I moved halfway across the country and that thing was huge. And although I would have loved to keep it, I really could still use it. Where I moved, I had no way to move it around. I left my forklift and everything at home, and it was just too big. But more importantly, the hot water stopped working on it about 6 to 8 months into me owning it, which I took it to 2 different pressure washer shops, both of which looked at me like I was crazy and said they couldn't even find a manual to fix the thing if they wanted to, nor did they want to try and experiment on it. So I ended up having to sell it as just a cold water pressure washer. I still got my money back out of it. I think I originally bought it for $500 and I sold it for a little more than that. It was really an awesome machine. It was really cool to be able to say you had a chemical warfare cleaning machine, decontaminating machine. Definitely one of my favorite things I've owned, but it's no longer with us. But I have another one that someone gave to me that's even crazier than that one, which is still at my parents' farm. But the next time I go back home, I do plan to get it and do a video series on figuring it out, because it's a prototype unit, and trying to get it running, which is also a small diesel engine. So keep an eye out for that video. It won't be for a little while. But in the meantime, just keep your own eyes out for a chemical warfare decontamination unit. Thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe.